Hello and welcome. My name is Jenny and today I'll be doing a how-to video on crow pose or Bakasana. Bakasana crow pose is one of the first arm balances that we learn in yoga, but it can be difficult to know where to start. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the pose for you. And no matter what level you're starting at, there'll be things that you can practice and work on here. So for this practice, if you have yoga bricks, I've got 2 here and 1 yoga block. I also have a bolster. If you don't have bricks, don't worry, I'll give you options to practice without. And if you don't have a bolster, just grab hold of some cushions instead, some cushions or some blankets. We're just going to use this as padding when we do start to come into the arm balance. And having some padding out in front of us can help us feel a little safer as we start to move into that arm balance. So when you're ready, let's get started by coming to lie down on our mat. So coming to lie down on the mat, hug your knees in towards your chest. And when we're working on crow pose, one very important piece of the puzzle is our hip flexibility. So being able to draw the knees close towards the chest. And that's why knees to chest pose is a lovely place to start here. You might take a little gentle rocking side to side on your spine. And also let's just start to take some nice deep breaths. So deep breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, just see if you can bring those knees any closer towards the chest. Deep breath in. Notice if those knees can draw any closer in. And one more time, breathing in. Breathing out, not forcing, just kind of noticing where we can get to. Now, keep the big toes touching, let the knees come slightly wider. And as you do that, you might notice that actually the knees will come a little closer to you. And then slide the hands down the shins, see if you can catch hold of your ankles. So this is a lovely place to start our crow journey. And again, we could take a little gentle rock side to side. Maybe you can start to feel those inner hip muscles opening up a bit here. You can stay, or some of you might be comfortable with happy baby, lifting the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Hands can stay on the ankles, they could hold just behind the thighs, or you could reach up and grab the outer edges of the feet. Now, if you're comfortable, little gentle rocking side to side on the spine might be nice. And when we're thinking about the position of crow pose, we want to work on getting our knee onto our upper arm. So this is a range of motion that we need when we're working towards crow pose. But when we're in crow pose, our hands are going to be on the floor. And so we're going to have to use the strength of the hips to bring those knees up towards the triceps. And so from here, what I want you to do is let go of your feet. Draw your feet in towards your tailbone and then press your hands up towards the ceiling like you're trying to stand on the hands, or the hands are pressing up towards the ceiling here. Now, from there, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, lift the head and shoulders away from the floor and see if you can use your core and your hip muscles to draw the knees closer to the upper arms. Now this should feel hard, really hard. So breathe, take breaks whenever you need to. And this is a great place to start, reclining crow pose. Couple more breaths, breathing in, breathing out. One more breath in, exhale, relax, hold on to the knees and take a gentle rock side to side. Once we're comfortable with reclining crow, we can move on to the next step. So let's take a couple of rolls along our spine and bring ourselves up into a seat. So the second step that I would work on when working towards this pose is seated crow. And I like to start this by coming into boat pose first. So feet are flat on the floor, hands just behind the thighs. You're going to lean slightly back and then see if you can hover the feet off the ground. That might be enough today. You can work on this or squeeze the legs together and take the hands away. You could be here. Some of you might be comfortable straightening through the legs. Take a few breaths. So we're starting to build the strength of the hip flexors as well as the abdominals here. One more breath in where you are. And as you exhale, let the feet drop back down. Relax. Maybe come into butterfly or cross-legged position for a moment or two. All right. So the next step to this is to work on the arms extending forward and the knees coming up towards the triceps. So in our boat pose, instead of kind of having the arms here or here, let's press the palms forward so we activate through the hands as well. You can lean slightly back, come up onto your toes, and then knees moving towards the upper arms. So push forward with the hands, squeeze the knees in. You can let the back round for this because when we come into crow pose, our back will naturally round. Squeeze those knees in towards the triceps, press the hands forward. Seated crow pose. Couple more breaths. One more breath in. Exhale, let your feet drop down, soles of the feet together. Take a breath in, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, just allow yourself a moment or two to fold forward. So this is the second step that I would work on when working towards crow. From here, take your hands to your knees, bring your knees back together. You can cross the ankles and let's roll over into a tabletop position. So the next step that we'll work on here is strengthening through our hands. It's really important for any arm balances that we keep our hands really nice and healthy and strong. So spread the fingers out nice and wide, press down into your fingertips, and then just nice little circles here. So as you inhale, you're coming slightly forward, and then exhale slightly back. Inhale to come slightly forward. Exhale, slightly back. Third circle. Inhale, come forward, keep pressing into your fingertips. Exhale, circle back. And then 3 in the opposite direction. Inhale as we come forward. Exhale back. 2 to go. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And last one. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Good, and then from there, make a fist with your hand, and then do the same with the other one, and then press back to flat palms. Let's do 2 more. So make a fist, press the floor away, and then back down. And last one, press into fist, and the other one, and then bring it back down. Good. This time, try coming onto the back of your hand, fingertips pointing in. You might do that one at a time, or you might feel confident having both hands down at the same time. Couple of breaths, try and straighten through the elbows as much as you can, just stretching the back of the wrists, and then see if you can pop up onto fists again here. And then go back to flat hands, couple more. Make a fist, and then backs of the hands come flat onto the floor, and then make a fist. Last one. Back of the hand comes down, come up into fist. Turn the fingertips back. Let's come into our normal position, palms down, fingers spreading nice and wide. Wonderful. The next piece of this puzzle is working on our chaturanga, our low push-up position. And so the mistake that often can be made when we're working on chaturanga is that we bend down and we let the elbows come wide and the chest lands between the hands. What we want to do instead, and I'm going to start here with the knees on the ground, let the hips drop slightly forward and down, is we want our shoulders to come forward of the wrists. So take a deep breath in, top of that modified plank, and then as you exhale, you bend your elbows, the shoulders come forward, and then you press back up. And we might need a lot of time to work on this. So this isn't something that happens straight away. It's something that we can build up slowly with time. If you have blocks, a nice way of working with the blocks here, or the bricks, sorry, is to place those bricks between the L shape of the hand. And then as we lower down, we might be able to rest the shoulders onto the bricks, hugging those elbows in, and then see if you can press your way back up. So we're bending down, we're going to lower down onto the bricks, or maybe you're doing it without, and then press back up. One more time. Bend the elbows, bring those shoulders forward of the elbows, and then exhale to press back up. And just relax for a moment. And so when we are comfortable with that movement, with the knees on the ground, we can start to work with that same movement, but with the knees off the ground. So you come up into your plank position, you engage through the core. You could still be using those blocks if you found that a helpful tool. And then you're leaning slightly forward, you're bending the elbows, and you're coming down about halfway, and then you press back up, and then you relax down. Now, if you have the strength to do a push-up like this, you have the strength to do crow pose. This, in lots of ways, is harder because when we come into the balance, we have kind of our center of gravity, which brings us into that point. So it's actually easier on the shoulder muscles than chaturanga. All right, let's go on to our next piece here. So the next little bit that I like to do when working towards crow is working on malasana or yoga squat. So for some of you, you're going to be really comfortable and happy taking the feet out a little wider than the hips, toes wide, and then sitting down, and the hips will come quite low into a yoga squat. As you can see, I get stuck. So if you're like me and you find that you're getting stuck, then try placing a brick, a yoga brick, just underneath the heels. If you don't have a yoga brick, you can also use something like cushions. So these ones are quite low, but you could just slightly elevate the heels and then see if that allows you to sit down. You might have to fold them over a couple of times to find the right height for your heels here and see if that allows you to then settle down into yoga squat. The other way that we can practice that is if you have a wall, you can bring yourself close to the wall. I like to have the feet together for this one, and then I'm sliding down the wall. And then I'm going to bring my feet far enough away so that I can get the heels down on the floor. Again, this is just good for working on that hip mobility that we need for crow pose. And what I like to do here is lean slightly forward and practice bringing the knees to the upper arms, just like we've done in our seated and our reclining variations. So that position can also be done on your mat with the props that you're using. So we come down into our squat, and then we're trying to get those knees as close to the armpits as we can and press the arms forward. All right, guys. So I think we've done plenty of prep now, and we're going to have a go at coming into crow pose. So if you have those cushions or bolsters around that you can place at the front of your mat to give you a little extra padding, that would be a good time to do that. And the other thing that we're going to try, if you have bricks, is elevating our feet onto bricks. So I'm giving myself a little kind of springboard here. So we stand onto the bricks, and then we're going to try coming down into this squat position. So I'm on the toes here, the heels are lifted, the knees are coming wide, and then I'm planting my hands down onto the ground. Now, as we come into this, a really important element is lifting the hips high. So press into the hands, lift the hips high. And at this point, all I want you to do is work on getting those knees towards your armpits, towards your upper arms. Now, from there, hug your elbows in, and instead of thinking about lifting the feet up, don't think about lifting the feet up. Think about moving your head and your shoulders forward. So I'm hugging the elbows in, my knees are resting on those upper arms, and all I'm thinking about is the direction of forward. And maybe as you do that, the feet might hover off your blocks. And then you come back down. Take breaks as you practice this. It can be very, very tiring. So let's just go through those instructions again. Hands are down, fingers are spreading wide, you're pressing into the fingertips, and then we're lifting the hips high. Now, squeeze the elbows in, let your knees find your upper arms. Look forward, don't look down, look forward, and then I'm going in the direction of forward, forward, forward. Maybe the feet hover, maybe you squeeze the feet in towards the tailbone. Breathe. Take another breath in, maybe the feet come back down. Whew, you can hear I'm quite out of breath. It is very tiring. So take your time, there's no rush. If you don't have bricks, or you want to try without the bricks, then move those out of the way, and everything else we do here is the same. So I'm coming down onto my toes, I'm planting my hands down onto the mat, and then I'm going to lift those hips as high as I can. A little harder to get those hips high without the blocks. And once we've got the hips high, we're walking our knees towards our upper arms. We're thinking about moving in the direction of forward, and I'm looking forward, I'm looking forward. The feet lifting off is the last thing to happen here. All right, guys, so I hope that video has been helpful today. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to leave a comment below or send me a message. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, or send this to a friend. Thank you so much. Enjoy your practice.